Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial by Yarnoculus. Today I'm gonna show you how to make this cute little wobble stitch pattern which you can use to make baby blankets, throws or even adult size blankets for your bedrooms. I'm gonna be using the Lion brand's Feels Like Butter yarn for this tutorial, and this is in color charcoal and a 5.0mm crochet hook. If you use the same yarn and the same hook size as I did, each of your diamond is gonna be about 2.5 inches wide and around 5 inches long. So you can calculate how much you want the length and the width of your work to be, and accordingly that many diamonds. If you see, all of these bobbles are on the front side, which means that you'll be doing it on the back side and then it will pop out on the front side. For every diamond you need 10 plus 5 number of stitches to start with, which means that if you want to have 3 diamonds you will have to do 30 plus 5 stitches. 2 of those stitches are gonna be for your borders to give you a clean border, and you need the rest of the stitches to make these diamonds. For the purpose of this video I'm gonna show you a sample of 3 diamonds, so I'm gonna do 30 plus 5, that is 35 chains for my foundation row. Let's go ahead and do 35 chains as a foundation row. To start with a slip knot and do 35 chain stitches. At the end of your foundation row, add one turning chain which does not count, and do a single crochet in the second stitch from the hook and in every stitch across this row. So just a single crochet in every stitch for your row number 2. At the end of row number 2, you should have single crochets as much as your foundation chains. In my case, since I did 35 chains, I should be getting 35 single crochets. Do not count the turning chain. For row number 3, chain 1, turn and do a single crochet again in every stitch. And for row number 3 as well, you should get as many number of single crochets as your foundation chain. So go ahead and do row number 3, which is a single crochet in every stitch. At the end of row number 3, I have 35 single crochet. So let's move on to row number 4. This is where all the fun begins. So chain 1 and turn your work. I'm gonna start with 7 single crochets. And after 7 single crochets, I'm gonna do one bobble stitch. For the bobble stitch, you have to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through only 2 and stop there. And do this for a total of 5 times. So that's once, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, that's 2. Do the same thing in the same stitch 3 more times. 3, 4 and 5. You have 6 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's when you know you got to stop. So yarn over and pull through all 6. And that's how you get a bobble stitch. Once you do that, continue making single crochets. And now we're gonna do 9 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. and another bobble. So your repetition for row number 4 is gonna be 1 bobble stitch, 9 single crochets, 1 bobble stitch, 9 single crochets. Continue doing this till you are left with 7 last stitches. I'm at the end of my row number 4 and I'm left with 7 stitches to go, so end with 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. That was my row number 4. So for row number 5, chain 1 and turn. And you're gonna see your cute little bobbles coming up on the right side of your work. So row number 5 is just gonna be a row of single crochets in every stitch. So you just do a single crochet in every stitch. At the end of row number 5, I have this cute little bobble set in place by the row of single crochet. And there would be a few more points that would help you remember this pattern. For example, every other odd row after this is gonna be a row of single crochet, and you're gonna have as many number of single crochets as your foundation chain. So for my sample, every odd row from here is gonna have 35 single crochets. So 5th row is gonna have 35 single crochets, 7, 9, 11, 13 and so on. Every odd row is gonna have 35 single crochets for this sample. Also, you're just gonna make the bubbles on even rows, so you know that you're on the right track if you're making the bubbles on the even rows. And that's gonna be the back side, so that your bubbles pop up on the front side. Let's go ahead and do row number 6 of this pattern. For row number 6, chain 1 and turn, and I'm gonna start with 6 single crochets. So 1, 6 single crochets. You're gonna do 1 bobble, which is 5 double crochets together in the same stitch. One single crochet and a bobble. And then 7 single crochets. So your repetition for row number 6 is gonna be 1 bobble, single crochet, bobble, 7 single crochets, and then repeat the same thing again. And you know what to do next. That's row number 7, which is just a odd row, so which means that it's gonna be a row of single crochets. And just like row number 3, I'm gonna have 35 single crochets. For row number 8, you're gonna do chain 1 and turn and start with 5 single crochets. Starting from the first chain, do 5 single crochets. And the repetition for this row is gonna be 1 bobble stitch, 3 single crochets, 1 bobble stitch, 5 single crochets. So let's do that. 1, 2, 1 bobble stitch, 3 single crochets, 1 bobble stitch, and 5 single crochets. Repeat this till you are left with 5 stitches in which you're gonna do 5 single crochets. Also go ahead and do row number 9, which is just gonna be a row of single crochets. At the end of row 9, you should see all of your cute little bobbles coming to life, and you will see proof of your diamond pattern, which is just such a delight to see. End of row 9, I'm gonna do a chain 1 and turn my work and start row number 10. For row number 10, you're gonna start off with 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and your pattern repeat for this row is gonna be a bobble stitch, 5 single crochets, bobble stitch, 3 single crochets. So let's do a bobble stitch, and then 5 single crochets, one more bobble stitch and 3 single crochets. Continue this repetition till you are left with 4 last stitches in which you're gonna do 4 single crochets. So my row number 11 was a row of single crochets and I got 35 single crochets. So for row number 12, I'm gonna chain 1 and turn my work and start with 3 single crochets. From the first chain, that's 1, 2 and 3. The repetition for this row is gonna be 1 wobble stitch, 7 single crochets, 1 wobble stitch, 1 single crochet and 1 wobble stitch. So let's do a wobble here. And 7 single crochets. One more wobble. 1 single crochet and another wobble. And you're gonna repeat this for the entire row. That's gonna be 7 single crochets, 1 bobble stitch, 1 single crochet and 1 bobble stitch. So go ahead and do this for row number 12 and also do a row of single crochets for row number 13. I'm gonna meet you at the end of row number 13. At the end of row number 13, I am at the middle of my diamonds, and let's proceed ahead to row number 14. For row number 14, chain 1 and turn your work, and I'm gonna start with 2 single crochets for row number 14. And your repeat pattern for this row is gonna be a simple bobble stitch, 4 single crochets, 1 bobble, 4 single crochets, and this is the easiest row in the whole pattern. So let's do 1 bobble, and 4 single crochets and then another bobble stitch. And another bobble stitch, and you're gonna repeat this for the entire row till you are left with 2 single crochets in the end, and do row number 15, which is a row of single crochets. At the end of your row number 15, you will be done halfway through your one set of diamonds, which means you are at the middle, and from here onwards you're just gonna repeat the rest of the diamond in the reverse way, which means that row number 16 is gonna be a repetition of row number 12, this one, and row number 18 is gonna be a repetition of row number 10, and so on, which will give you the rest of the diamond. So let's go ahead and do row number 16. So chain 1 and turn, and here for row number 16 I'm gonna start with 3 single crochets and a bobble stitch. So on row number 16, your repetition pattern is gonna be a bobble stitch, 7 single crochets, 1 bobble stitch, 1 single crochet and 1 bobble stitch, exactly like what you did in row number 12. So do a bobble stitch, seven single crochets, one bobble stitch, 1 single crochet and 1 bobble stitch. One single crochet and 1 bobble stitch. And repeat this till you have 3 stitches in the end, in which you're gonna do 3 single crochets. You're gonna end this row with 3 single crochets, chain 1, turn and do row number 17, which is a row of single crochets again. So row 18 is gonna be an exact duplicate of row 10. So you're gonna start with 4 single crochets in the beginning, 1 bobble stitch, 5 single crochets, 1 bobble stitch, and 3 single crochets. So let's do 4 single crochets. One bobble stitch, five single crochets, one bobble stitch, three single crochets, and repeat again. Repeat this pattern till the end of the row till you are left with 4 single crochets, and you're gonna end the row the same way that you started. Also do row number 19, which is just gonna be a row of single crochets. I'll meet you at the end of row number 19. Row 20 is gonna be an exact replica of row number 8. So after chain 1 and turn, I'm gonna start with 5 single crochets, and of course this row is also gonna end with 5 single crochets. In the middle, you're gonna do a repetition of 1 bobble stitch, 3 single crochets, 1 bobble stitch, and 5 single crochets. And repeat this pattern till of course you're left with the last 5 single crochets. And do row number 21, which is again a row of single crochets. For row number 22, you're gonna do exactly what you did for row number 6, that is start and end with 6 single crochets, 1 bobble stitch, 1 single crochet, 1 bobble stitch, and 7 single crochets. Exactly what you did for row number 6. So start with 6 single crochets and just repeat row number 6 for row number 22, and also do row number 23, which is a row of single crochets all across the row. At the end of row number 23, you have almost completed the diamond, and just 2 more rows are remaining for you to start back your repetition. So row number 24 is gonna be an exact replica of row number 14, which is also gonna complete your diamonds. So chain 1 and turn and start with 2 single crochets. And if you remember, row number 14 was the easiest to memorize, which is a bobble stitch, 4 single crochets, bobble stitch, and 4 single crochets. Keep repeating till you are left with 2 stitches in the end, in which you will do a single crochet. And row number 25 again, as usual, is gonna be a row of single crochets. Do that, and I'm gonna meet you at the end of row number 25. At the end of row number 25, one set of the diamond pattern would have been complete, and all you have to do next is repeat rows number 6 to 25 for as long as you want the length of your work to be. In this sample that I made earlier, I have added a border of half double crochet stitches and it looks absolutely stunning, doesn't it? That's it for the tutorial today. If you like my work, please smash that like button, share this video with your friends and family, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel Yarnakulas. I'll be back next week with another beautiful crochet pattern. Till then, stay safe and happy crocheting.